Go ahead and call our meeting to order. We're here at the Public Works Building. It's Tuesday, April 28th at 9 o'clock. And we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, have an invocation also followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this beautiful day that you have given us, for this is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you for this beautiful place that we live in. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here and to take care of this place, Father God. Today we lift up our nation, we lift up our president, Father. I ask you to watch over our nation. I ask that you put a hedge of protection around our country, Father God. I pray for our military as well, and I ask you to take care of them and watch over them as well. I pray for our city council today. I ask you to give them wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Father God, I pray for Lieutenant Marty Williams' family today, Father, and the loss of his mother. I ask you, Father, that you just give them a peace that passes all understanding and just comfort them during this time, Father God. As your word states, Father, today, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are pure, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever is a good report, if there's any virtue or any praise, help us to always think on those things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Fasagi?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. Hamilton? Here. Mayor Wolf?
Here. All right, will everybody take a look at the consent agenda on the minutes? Any questions or anything on the April 14th? We're good? Looks good. Acceptable? Okay. First thing on the regular agenda is ordinance 883, Duke Energy Franchise Agreement, second reading. Do you have a motion to read?
Make a motion, we read ordinance 883 by title only.
I'll second it.
Got a motion, and a second, Tanner, when you're ready.
Mr. Fasagi?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes.
Ordinance 883. An ordinance granting to Duke Energy Florida LLC, Duke Energy, an electric utility right-of-way utilization franchise, prescribing the terms and conditions related to the occupancy of municipal streets and right-of-ways in the city of Mexico Beach, Florida, for the purpose of providing electric service, providing for severability, or provisions in providing for an effective date.
Didn't open the public for any public discussion on the second reading of the agreement. No comments, ready to close public, move to the table. Any comments on the second reading? We good at the table, do I have a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, Tammy, when you're ready, take the roll, please.
Mr. Fasagi?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. Next thing on the agenda is a follow-up request from Casuna, Mr. Mel.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city was in receipt of a letter from the Homeowners Association from Casuna, which is attached to the packet. The items of interest is the new sewer system was listed in there, but that's not been an issue for years. We've been maintaining that. The potable water system is another issue that's not up for debate either. There's stormwater infrastructure servicing in the front and rear of residential lots. It was requested the city take that over, which is a reasonable request. But the HOA should submit some documents depicting any easements through the residential properties. Street lights is another issue. I know there was discussion about a partial cost share or none at all. That's up for the council debate. The sidewalks, the $20,000 estimate to repair all the sidewalk tripping hazards was at $20,000. Once we took the estimate out for the 15th Street sidewalks, that was down to $15,000 in that range. So there was a hint that we may not be able to accept infrastructure that does not meet our standards. That's up for council discussion as well. Grass maintenance in the right of way. That was not specifically mentioned in the request, but it's implied that should we take over the maintenance of the right of ways, that we would also take care of cutting the grass in the right of ways, and that's an issue that some in the HOA may not be in complete agreement with, but that's for discussion. Your Honor, turning it back to you.
Okay. Before we come to the table, do we have any comments from the public? No comments from the public? We'll come back to the table, close the public. Discussion at the table. The city administrator already went over a couple of things on this, and I guess that could be some type of request on some of the items. The easement, I think, is simple, personally. We identify that area and then we go from there. Sidewalks, I believe we have to come up with some type of agreement that we do repairs, but those repairs are based on some type of range. If it's a half inch, they're just like the city. We haven't repaired them yet, we'll get to them when we get to them. If they're 4 or 5 inches, we might want to repair those before we take it over. So I think we probably have to have that type of discussion once we accept this. I'm in agreement to accept it, but I think there's some restrictions. Lighting was a concern the last time we talked. I went through there. They have, give or take one, they have 22 lights in their home, their tract of homes, and there's basically somewhere about 44 or 45 homes there. I took a look at Grand Isle, which is a tract of homes, and there's 53 homes in there, and they have 6 lights. So we might have to come up with some type of way to address that. I think the council at first, when I heard, didn't want to pay for it at all. But if we pay for it in the city and the tract of homes at a certain range, maybe we want to accept something along that lines.
I have some thoughts too, regarding the streetlights and the sidewalks. If we do this for Casuna, then does that open us up to future developments that we would be expected possibly to do the same if they develop the same type of subdivision and had the HOA as well?
I don't want to ignore the fact that there was a deed that was signed by the city to accept those streets, and to date have not done that. So with that said, that'd be my defense, is that this should have been taken care of a long time ago.
I agree, Mayor, and I think I know I made my point to the city administrator. I think the last meeting we discussed this, I was actually out. But in my view, right-of-way is right-of-way. And utilities are in the right-of-way. And if a developer decides to put sidewalks in the right-of-way, ultimately, they're going to be turned over and they're going to be the responsibility of the city. As far as current maintenance and repairs on their sidewalks, I've been through there, and let's just say they're in better condition than a whole lot of them throughout the city. My vote is to let's move on. Let's accept this like it should have been done years ago, and let's just get it off the agenda. Now, as far as the maintenance, the homeowners, I'm sure, because most homeowners in there maintain the grass all the way to the curb, whether they have a lawn care company or whether they do it themselves. So I would think they don't want the city mowing grass in their front yard. That's just my opinion. The homeowners could answer that better than I, but I think currently they do a pretty good job, and it's a very nice neighborhood. But that's the only other thing I would add. I think let's just accept it and move on.
Okay, so your concern is the mowing.
I don't know, maybe I misread the notes, but I thought the only concern with mowing from the homeowners in Casuna were the ones along 15th Street who are a little particular about what their lawn looks like on the other side of the sidewalk, between the sidewalk and the road, which is technically not theirs, it's technically the city's, but yeah, I mean.
Well, Eric, to that point, my grass that comes up to the edge of the street is also on city property. But I don't want the city mowing my grass either.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I tend to agree with the idea that this is, it should have been done a long time ago. Let's move on and just get it taken care of. The only issue I think that needs a decision from the rest of the council is the annual cost of the streetlights.
I agree.
What's the thought process? Just, only because there's a couple things there, I wanna make sure we get it straight. Easement mowing by the city is they take the mower, they put it at a certain degree and they mow the lawn. Is that what we want done, or does Casuna want something different than that? And I'd ask Casuna, anybody wanna speak on that? If you do, come on up to the podium. I'd like to take these one by one, the mowing, the sidewalks, and then jump into the lights.
I think the mowing is something we can bring to the membership and tell them there's 7, 9 that don't like it mowing, the other ones haven't mowed. So I think if we make a decision, we just need to tell them, you're either responsible for it or you're not. I think there is no really gray area of picking and choosing if the city's taking it over.
I think the table agrees to that.
Yeah.
But we just need to decide which way it is. Is it you're gonna take them, or we need to tell everybody to mow their own?
Okay, on the easement, I would think that we would take it and mow it all the same, right?
We're not gonna pick and choose who to
Right.
mow and who not to mow.
Right.
So if we take over maintenance, we take it over. And we don't wanna hear complaints that we cut it too short.
So do you
That
want me
being
to
said-
ask at that meeting which they prefer? Do they want them to take it all, or do they wanna keep it all? Should I ask that question?
Do you wanna table this and do it again?
Not really.
Give us a decision. You know what the city does when they mow?
Yeah.
Mayor, I don't want to interrupt, but Sam knows and I know, the workers drive by my house and they never mow my grass. You know why? Because they see that it's mowed. And
They know,
they know,
but to pick and choose be kind of,
in a whole neighborhood.
in a whole neighborhood, yeah, we're not gonna go, that guy needs theirs, we're not gonna do that.
Because I think there's
So-
7 currently that mow their own, and the rest are all done by the HOA currently. There are 7, so I would say 7 out of 72 tells me only 7 want to mow their own, the rest do not, so.
And
Why
we
can't
don't-
we just keep, why can't we just keep HOA mowing the?
You
the
can.
grass? They don't have to, just take that out of it, you don't have to mow our grass, we'll do that.
So,
Bring it. Is that what the HOA wants? We'll make a decision on that.
Sure.
It's not a problem.
we'll keep the grass mowing on
There you go.
Okay, mowing is solved.
Good.
Okay? Thank you.
Allowing out sidewalks, right?
Let's, excuse me?
Next to sidewalks?
Yeah, let's jump into sidewalks. I think Mr. Cox kind of explained, we have some sidewalks that need repair within the city that are worse than what's in Casuna. We did the assessment at Casuna, and there are some in there that probably should be repaired. We will, I think, as a table, we're probably willing to do that the same as we would throughout the city, but it's not gonna be we take it over and all of a sudden we fix all of it. So if they're acceptable to that type of.
We have one deposit from a homeowner that is still being held due to damaged sidewalk, and I'm almost positive they would allow me to turn that $2,000 over as well, for you to fix it.
Yeah, if we're gonna take over the right of way and the easement and everything that's part of it, that includes the sidewalks, let's just take it over and let's do it.
Okay? Any questions on the table? Is that good?
I'm good with that.
Good. All right, next thing is lights. I've heard everything from, if you want lights, pay for them, if you don't, turn them off. So, but like I said, about Grand Isle and Casuna, making that comparison, 44 homes versus 53 homes, 22 lights versus 6 lights. Should we make some adjustment along that lines? I mean, there is safety involved here also, so we need to consider that. What's the thought process?
Well, my first inclination is to say there's other street lights throughout the city too, like up and down Florida Avenue that the city pays for.
Yeah.
I do think 22 for that neighborhood might be a bit excessive. So I would just propose as one council person that they decide how many of them they want to turn off. And, you know, given that ratio, if you could get that down to 8 or 10, I think the city should just pay for them, just like, because we take the property tax money from those residents just like everyone else, so.
Having 22 lights or 22, whatever it is, and I think you guys gave us a total number, you're looking at it, individual lights about $320 a month. So,
I can't speak for the board, but I think I can get them to agree to splitting the bill. I think, if that's the direction you're
keeping
going.
all 22 lights
And
on.
then we'll pay half and you pay half,
Split.
so, yeah.
So that sounds reasonable to me, because I agree that 22 lights is probably a higher density than what the city would have installed in that neighborhood if the city was in charge of putting lights in Casuna. But it's also a safety issue, it's also a property tax issue. I mean, we still charge property taxes, or the county does, for those 45 homeowners. They should get some of that back from the city. And $7,300 a year is pretty reasonable, but with all this going on, what I'm about to say, I don't have a strong opinion about, but splitting the cost 50-50 sounds reasonable to me.
Aesthetically, I think they would be more convincible to split it than shutting half of them off. That's all I'm trying to
And no, there's 73 lots, which is 45 homes currently built.
I think I said homes, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't count the lots.
All I'm saying there is that there will be 73 homes in there at some point.
That's why I said homes. Okay.
I'm agreeable to the split.
I think table's agreeable to split.
I kind of disagree because that was their choice to create that subdivision and to put the lights up. Most of just the residential streets in our city don't have lights. What if they all of a sudden say, well, you're paying for Casuna's lights, why can't we have lights? I think we always have to think of what can come back and bite us. I don't know that, it's a subdivision, they have an HOA, and if they want to have 23 lights, I think they should pay for the cost of those lights.
So they're agreeing to pay half of it, that's what they're agreeing to.
But then what if down the road, say Maryland says, we want a bunch of street lights on our street, are we gonna say, okay, we're gonna be good with that too? We always have to think of the repercussion of a decision and how it can affect other areas. So I'm not in agreement with paying for it.
Okay. That's why we have a council, that's why we vote, that's why we do what we do. Any other questions for Mr. Welling? Thank you, sir. Okay, so I think we addressed all the items for Casuna. The only item that I didn't see a consensus on, a full consensus, was the lighting. So, keeping that in mind, that we would take over the mowing, sidewalks, and half of the lighting. Is there a motion to move forward with Casuna?
Mayor, I think they said they would keep their mowing. They don't want us to do mowing.
That's
Correct, I just addressed it.
Okay.
Well, so, procedural question, since we have disagreement at the table, do we need to vote on each of these 3 items individually? Mowing, sidewalks, lighting? Or we're
I don't think so, I think we
voting
just
on-
need to vote on the.
On one, and of course, I I think you need an agreement with the HOA for these things, and we'll also need a deed on the stormwater, because the stormwater was deeded to them, so. There's some legal aspects that need to be done beyond the policy that y'all are.
Yeah,
voting
so
on.
I'm in favor of, my least favorite word at this table, I'm in favor of tabling this until we have all the legalities set to ready to go, so that we can make a vote.
All we're doing is making a vote to establish that, put that all together.
Right.
Once that comes together, it comes to the table, and that becomes the contract that we sign and agree on.
Okay, so
So-
voting today is not done, it's voting to continue.
It's pretty much done based on the conversation that went on here that will be put in writing.
It's a conceptual agreement at the table with instructions to me to prepare the appropriate documentation to effectuate the policy you all set.
Understood, thank you.
We have a motion to move forward?
All right, then I make a motion that we move forward with the agreement to annex.
Well, not any-
No.
No.
No, you got set. No, you said it.
No.
Then I make a motion that we move forward to accept
Street lights.
the streetlights and the sidewalks of the casino subdivision.
May I make a
Yes,
suggestion?
yes, please.
Why don't you make the motion to accept the maintenance of the items set forth in the dedication with the understanding that a final agreement will be prepared and agreed to by the homeowners association and the city.
Does anybody else want to go?
I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that way it just covers the waterfront, and Bell's talked about the water and the sewer and the other stuff, so.
Does anybody else want to try? Steve? Anybody?
That was pretty simple, my son.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept
To accept for maintenance
the current,
the items set forth in the dedication of the Casuna subdivision, with the understanding that some of the items will be shared, and an agreement will be drafted and signed by the homeowners association and the city, and any other legal documents that may be required.
I would like to make that one.
Somebody wants to.
Good job.
coming from our attorney and being approved by, as a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. That's why we have you at the table. Tammy, take the roll, please.
Mr. Fasagi?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
No.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. All right. We only had two things on the agenda, believe it or not, so we are moving on to citizens' comments. And I'll ask you to come to the podium. The comments are limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Jason?
Yes, sir. Jason Adams, 209 Water Drive, Mexico Beach. The comments obviously are relating to, there's an empty seat here at this table that I used to hold. I've read the charter. I hope the council's going to talk about it a little more today as to what their direction is. But I hope, well, first, before I say that, I don't see any way from what I've looked at, and I want to ask the council and the attorney. A special election, in my mind, would have been better for the citizens considering this situation. And trying to fill it for 2 years instead of what I read in the charter that it's a one-year appointment, and then it will come back up for election next year. I don't see that in the charter. I wasn't even gonna bring it, but I wanted to express my thoughts on that, mainly because the way things have transpired and this seat coming open, the timing, things like that, I just trying to want to do what's best for the citizens. And right now that, like I say, I guess it's a moot point, but I'm putting it out there. I don't know what the process is on an election. Also last, I hope the council really takes their time. If it's an appointment, I know it's only 30 days, but please do what's right. I know you will. I'm hoping, pray. And because there's gonna be, and I mean, there's just gonna be people, it's already, people are asking, what happened, what's going on? And I want it to come out for the best for the city and the citizens. I do think there's gonna be some kickback on whatever direction, but I still hold that tight that the right person will come out. And please don't take your eye off the ball either. I think we need more answers. We may not ever get them. That's what I gotta say.
Okay, thank you. We'll get and cover that, mayor comments.
John Harold, representing special events for Mexico Beach, but most of y'all know I live in the last house in Bay County.
First.
Last. Only if you're traveling west. Anyway, I'm here to talk about, believe it or not, we're already having people asking about our 5K run, 4th of July. So, for my shirt, just to let you know, registration will open up latter part of May. We're still going to have the race, so it's encouraging that we're going to have interest in it. To just to finalize everything, we finally got everything back from Gumbo, which I think was a success because we raised the money, the prize money. So we are a little less than $1,000 off of last year's total, which to me was very encouraging. Chief Walker could talk about how parking was. I think we had a whole lot of people there. It was great. He complained about we didn't leave him any space for parking. That's because we had more vendors show, which is also exciting. And I also want to remind everybody that this year is the 250th anniversary of our country. We have something planned a little extra, so we hope you enjoy it. We paid a little extra for it, so now we got to pay for it. So we will be sending out a letter later on. If anyone would like to donate, we would love to have your donations to help offset this extra that we're doing. So we're looking forward to a fantastic 4th of July. I think Chief Walker wants to have a little rain before we have fireworks, which we can all pray for. Again, the 4th of July race is coming up. I know it's only April, but I can't believe people are already asking about it, which to me is exciting. So to all the citizens at home, please come out and run, walk, crawl, no bicycles, no motor scooters or anything like that. And there again, we're looking toward a fantastic 250th celebration. And we thank the city and everybody that helped us with Gumbo. Now we need to make the 4th of July run a success. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you again.
If there's something on the events that you want posted on the city website, I suggest you get a hold of either Julie or
we will.
City administrator and have them get that posted ahead of time.
We will. Yeah.
We're trying to force people more to our website, and I tell you,
And we look forward to the cooperation. to Julie and to Mel. We thank you. CDC is wonderful about publicizing it. Matter of fact, Kimberly told me the other day, she goes, well, when are you gonna have registration? I said, for what? She said, the race. I said, it's April. She goes, I know, I'm already getting calls. To me, that's fantastic. I mean, we had over, y'all remember how many runners we had?
We had over 400.
Yeah, I don't think it's like 447 or something. So we're looking forward. And again, I want to thank the city for all the cooperation. You guys were wonderful. Yeah, we put on the show, but we can't without help. It's getting bigger. People coming from Apalachicola, Santa Rosa and stuff like that. So and this year's going to be a good fireworks show. So don't go out of town, I'm telling you. Don't go out of town, though.
I'll be here.
Good.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Chandler Touchton, 106 St. Charles Street. I would like to open the discussion about the bridge that was dismantled between Joe Drive and Bailey Lane. First, I totally understand where the landowner is coming from. The liability issue is something that I wouldn't want to have to deal with. But I have a few questions about everything that's going on. Why does the city maintain that end of Bailey Lane if it belongs to private landowners? Why was it paved with our taxpayer money if it's a private landowner situation? The board, let's see, why was the city's responsibility to initially fix the bridge and then tear it down if it's on private property? Why were we responsible for doing that? That's the first part. To get from our section of town over to City Hall, we use that bridge a lot. We use that bridge when we come over for pickleball, come to the playgrounds, in our daily walks around town. That bridge is used by a lot of different people. And I would like to ask the council to possibly use eminent domain and purchase that section where the bridge was and replace that bridge, because a lot of the citizens in Mexico Beach really do use that path to get over here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Maggie Richmond. I reside at 118 Ocean Plantation Circle. It was brought to the public's attention last week that the Golf Cart Bridge was being closed due to it being on private property. We all know that this is well within the property owner's rights, as it is an immense liability with the two owners that share the bridge. There was language coming out of the city that if the residents want to purchase property and make an agreement with the owners, we could do that. Upon doing further research and digging into property records, I discovered that the majority of Bailey Lane has not been platted and formally turned over to the city of Mexico Beach. Yet the city has maintained it for years and has even paved it within the past 2 years using taxpayer dollars or FEMA funds, I'm not sure which. So we know there's been a gap with paperwork with the roadway dedication and the easement specifically. However, if you pull all of the property record deeds within that unplatted portion of Bailey Lane, between the two properties, there is a 50-foot easement that every property owner is subject to. Now that would be for the roadway. That easement was platted within those properties for a roadway, right? And a right-of-way. It just has never been formally or legally dedicated on the plat map. And if you look at Bailey Lane, that easement would go all the way to the St. Joe property for the St. Joe Strip. That then brings up another question with St. Joe Road. Right now, that road connects to Bailey, or where that easement would be. St. Joe Company owns that road, it's private. The entrance to St. Joe Road is actually under an exclusive easement agreement with Ocean Plantation. We currently carry liability insurance on that entryway to St. Joe Strip. And within that easement agreement, the usage of St. Joe Joe Drive is specifically for Ocean Plantation residents, visitors of Ocean Plantation, utilities, USPS, and so forth. It is not for flow-through traffic to Joe Drive. That is prohibited. So that's a second issue that needs resolution to open up back access that we also desperately love and want to continue with the city. But there's some dedication work and some legalities that need to be figured out from the city. One would be taking Joe Drive, and second would be platting Bailey Lane. So I know as residents, this has been a huge hot topic. I have small children. Most of us don't want to walk down 98 or drive our golf carts that aren't registered for road legal. We love our city. We love coming to City Hall, playing pickleball. We have so many good resources here. We just want to continue access for residents and visitors because we love this town. So would love and appreciate your help with anything we can do to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the citizens? Ready to close. Citizens' comments? Maybe so we don't get into a conversation that no decisions have been made. Let me just tell you what the city is aware of. The city is aware that we got a call from an owner to remove it based on some things that he saw going on the bridge. Lo and behold, we pull everything out and we find out that it's their property. So what do you do from there? Number one is you take care of the problem. You don't want, it's his property, take the bridge down. Don't think for a minute that's the end. We've turned that over to our attorney. We need to answer some of those questions that were just asked. We can't do that today at this table. We only have input, that's it. It's not going ignored. Is there an option? Was there conversation about maybe buying the 6 lots or negotiating that? Anything's up in the air, but we have to get some direction first. So that's where we're at. I guess what I'm telling you is there's more to come, but we're not gonna make that decision today. And we're all aware that that was used by a lot of citizens, including myself. So, with that said, any comment from the council on it?
I'll go after you.
Yeah,
We're not gonna solve it, guys, so let's not have a half-hour conversation on something that we're not gonna solve.
So I just want to go on record, I want to solve this issue as much as any other resident of Mexico Beach. We also live around the corner from that golf cart bridge, and we use it all the time. So we want to solve it. But like I mentioned to the city administrator yesterday, and Ms. Richmond just detailed, there's the legality issue of Joe Road that I was unaware of. I mean, I kind of sort of knew that the road was owned by St. Joe Company, but it's essentially private property. And so, unfortunately, every time anyone has been using that golf cart bridge, myself included, we've technically been crossing private land without an appropriate easement. The only easement for Joe Road is Ocean Plantation residents. So, we want to solve this, but it sounds like we have legalities. In addition to not only the private property of Joe Road, but also the platting issue, I think, is unresolved. The Bay County property records have some data, but I believe there's more records that the city probably can chase down that are outside of the publicly available Bay County property records that are all going to have to be sorted out and sifted out. And so we have some legalities that we have to solve. And then I personally hope that we find a way to get that bridge back.
Just on one thing, I think the bridge is where we need to concentrate because of information that I have, and I know the city administrator has, and maybe some of the council people. We've had conversations with St. Joe Company about Joe Road based on the access for the police, fire, and City Hall on that side. So there's been some comments that that's not gonna be a problem to get turned over, but we haven't pursued it because we haven't decided what we're doing on that side. So I think that's less of an issue than what Bailey Lane is. But we're gonna address them both.
And, Mayor, just to briefly, as a council person and a citizen, I frankly don't understand how we put a road in and don't get proper easements. And I thought Ms. Richmond did a wonderful job, and then, you know, it brings up the whole question of if they actually own the entrance to Joe Drive and they're providing, quote, liability coverage, are we all violating, or, you know, where does the legality fall? And you know, I said to the city administrator when all this first came out, and we do live in a very, call it a litigious society. People will sue at the drop of a hat. And it just struck me that every time a city worker goes onto private property to get a trash can, both the city and the property owner could be liable for an injury. So, yeah, we're not gonna solve this today, but I think there's a whole lot of things we gotta look at, and we all, I think the property owners at the end of Bailey Lane would love to have a safe bridge through there. You know, but I understand if I own that property, you know, and there was a time people, when the 15th was closed, people were driving through their driveway, you know, rather than taking the real detour. So I get it, you know, it can be very frustrating, but we need to solve it, and quickly.
Yeah, well, you know, when you asked the question of, when did we pave that? And nobody knows.
Well, it was paved before we resurfaced it, right?
Right, but who paved it?
Yeah.
One little caveat comment that I've heard from a very previous owner, and it would need to be verified, that at some point, there were some owners that went in there and paved that section of the road. Now, don't hang your hat on that, but that is from a person that used to.
Some owners that are included in that
In that part that is technically private on Bailey Lane, I have heard from a previous owner that there was a group of them that got together and initially paved that section from the third lot down or wherever it's at.
Yeah, see, this
But
is really
there's a lot of
complicated,
stuff
yeah. We're gonna try to sort it out and get some answers, obviously, up to and including why we paved it, why we resurfaced it. Probably because we thought we owned it, I would imagine. We did get asked recently for a street to be paved, and we looked it up, saw that it was a private street, and told them no. So I know that's the process, but I can't tell you what happened years ago. Can't do that. So that's where we're at. Stay tuned, I guess. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. And I think our goal has to be the bridge. Let's get that back, number one, and go from there.
Well, and Mayor, just as a council person along that same line, I think we all are in agreement where the future of the city lies back here. I don't know what would delay us in getting the St. Joe Company to make Joe Drive a city street.
Yeah, I agree,
Because we do need access to our 25 acres back.
Yeah, so just to be clear on what Steve just said, the city's sort of future plans and the center of gravity is the 25-acre site, but I think we all have seen currently and in the past that once that city center, I'll call it, gets implemented, we want it to be a throughway, right? We have grand ideas of recreation and dog parks and pickleballs, and that's not in anybody's current plan. We're just trying to do with the 25-acre site what we can do right now as far as relocation. But I think we all want that throughway from Joe Drive through the 25-acre site to something that comes out on the other end. That's what we want for a golf cart community to become a true golf cart community where you can get from one side of town to the other. Right now you can't even do that, but the little golf cart bridge that was just taken away, that could at least get you to City Hall and 22nd Street. But while we do want to put that back, I think the long-term vision is to have Joe Drive be the through throughway for everything in Mexico Beach.
Did you have something real quick?
Yes, we have a resident in our neighborhood that was willing to fund, once all this is worked out, fund actually building a new bridge with like the plastic, good material. Jason, you can probably tell me what that is.
Great.
We're using Trex.
The Trex.
Yes, but he would volunteer to do that, so
Okay.
I think we're all in it together.
All right, hold on to that, that's a good point, thank you, we appreciate that. Anything else? Steve? Good. City attorney, do you have anything to add to that, or?
No, sir, I've got my directions.
Okay, city administrator?
I've got a few, well, is it the city administrator comments or just a comment on that?
Let's move on to that. Are we done with council comments?
Well, no,
Okay, we're still in the city.
we never got
There we
council
go.
comments.
Let's go ahead and close the public comments and move to the staff comments.
All right, number one on mine was Bailey Lane, believe it or not. The only comment that I can make that's not been talked about is that the decision maker when it came to repaving Bailey Lane was not aware that it was a private street. So that answers that question. We've already talked about St. Joe Company wanting to give us Joe Drive, that's not a problem. And if you look at the deeds of everyone, they mentioned an easement, and the easement is for public utilities, including electrical, gas, water, sewer, and ingress to their property. So, you know, we can legally be on it. But if I was a property owner, I would want to give that property to the city as soon as possible to get it off of my potential litigation. Next item is the memorial bench. We've got an application for a memorial bench to be placed in front of the Centennial Bank area. There's a gentleman who spent a lot of time sitting in that area, in particular on the steps of the bank with their permission to watch the world go by. And he had a dog pass away and he wants to put in a memorial bench in that area. And if you look at our memorial policy, it doesn't differentiate whether it can be memorialized for a person or a dog or anything. So we have no problem complying with his request. The bench will be at his cost, not the city's cost. But we did have to discuss on the staff level what kind of bench is going to go there. You may know that we have numerous benches throughout Highway 98 that are just your normal seat without a back. But a year or two ago, in honor of Mr. Jenkins, there was a bench put up on around 3rd Street. It was an awesome bench. Mr. Walker did that at his own expense and his own craftsmanship. So what we decided on the staff level, if we decide to put just a normal bench anywhere, it's going to look like the ones that are there. But if it's a memorial bench, we'll copy what Mr. Walker has done to make it a more substantive bench with the back on it and everything. So we'll proceed in getting this application approved. There were some comments recently that now that we have some lobbyists on board, that we spend $4,500 a month a retainer for them, and there may be many months where not much is going on. Well, for lobbyists, that may be true to a certain degree, but they work all the time throughout the year. And every Friday, I get a call from our designated person from the firm to go over what they've been doing in the past week. You know, this past Friday, it was an update on property taxes now that the governor's called for a special session. Even though it was an update me on what's going on, there really wasn't much to update me on what's going on because nobody really knows. There's been numerous proposals out there, but there's not one proposal that has passed the muster to move forward. Nonetheless, we will continue meeting with them as often as possible. We have numerous projects that we have interest in getting, and so we need their help to shepherd that through. They are trying to get a meeting, probably not this week, but next week, for them to physically come on site again and meet with our staff and proceed with that. Also, we have a tree giveaway this Friday at 9 a.m. at Parker Park. This is part of our annual tree giveaway, the Tree City USA and Arbor Day celebration. So Friday, 9 a.m. at Parker Park if you want some trees. And we all know we lost a lot of trees during the hurricane, so it's time to start putting them back. So come on down. That's all I got, Your Honor.
All right. City Attorney,
I've got my work
cut out.
cut out for me.
Any department heads,
They started working over at
come on
Sunset.
up and, address the,
Councilman? Residents. They started working on Sunset.
address the council.
Council. And you both?
We're gonna get you trained.
They're starting work on the Sunset, and they're doing the paving over at the end of the canal to get the cul-de-sac finished, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon. All the poles are put in over at Parker Park, so soon they'll start the amphitheater. So,
Good deal.
good deal.
Can I ask,
Got a question? Go
just
ahead.
last quick, the update, I read it in the newsletter, the bridge, I know there was a few, last few items that you needed to put in.
They need to put the sod, they gotta put the sod in, and then they will,
Landscaping.
the landscaping, and they will open it.
And after that, then they'll open it.
They'll open it, and then we get sod coming in for the 15th Street Doe Drive, that will be done on the other side. Sod will be there Thursday.
So the landscaping happens before or after the bridge inspection?
They gotta put the landscaping down first before they can open it. On 15th Street side, on
Yeah, on 15th Street.
On
But
15th Street.
Is that before or after the actual bridge inspectors come?
after they put the sod down,
Okay.
they'll inspect it.
Okay,
And
so
then they're finished.
so they literally won't come inspect unless every last thing is
When
done.
they're done.
Including the landscape.
Exactly, exactly.
Anything else?
We good?
Okay. Thank you.
I'll get trained that way.
We'll be with you. We're on your side. Any other department heads? Comments? Good? No leaks anywhere? That's a good thing. I'll say on, from the department, from the, and this is kind of to thank the citizens. I mean, that pump truck that we got, this last leak that we had over on what street was it?
15th Street.
15th Street. I went out there and watched that whole process, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how the heck we worked without a pump truck. I mean, that thing was so slick, and they took care of things very, very quick, and it's amazing to me, our guys, I don't care what goes on, if there's a hole there, they're in it. And that's exactly how they approach it. They would jump in the hole, pump out what they had to pump out, and then get going. Everybody's always thankful when they go there and it's clear water. Believe me, it's a water break, that's a good thing. Yeah, but thank the council, and thank the citizens for funding that truck. It was a big deal for the city. All right, council comments?
I'll go first, Mayor. I passed out this little, thanks to Julie. I was in City Hall, and y'all know parking has been, permanent parking solutions, I guess, have been at the top of my list, and top of, I think, the council's list and the city staff's list for the last several weeks. Well, Julie had mentioned what got this started was that Doug Baber had negotiated with this property owner the use of this parcel adjacent to Parker Park. This is basically the same map with different parcels highlighted. What I would like the council to authorize the city administrator to do is, Doug had negotiated with this property owner to lease or basically almost give us the use of this parcel for parking. But that was years ago, and before we had the beach restoration and we had a mountain of shells to use, and it was going to be prohibitively expensive to bring in material as a base material. So as a long-term solution, I would like the council to authorize the city administrator to talk to one or all of these parties and see about potential either purchase or long-term lease, so we could get ahead of our parking problem, not just do temporary barricades and temporary parking lots and those kinds of things, so.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So, if I understand you correctly, there's the potential to turn all three of these parcels, or two of three, or one of three, into.
Well, the big one, the one that just kind of goes in right beside Summer House, that's adjacent to or right across the canal from Parker Park.
Yeah.
The zoning wouldn't be a problem there. I think it's already zoned general commercial. But the property owner has owned it for 10 years or more, has no apparent real plans for development. And I just think number one, there's a beach walkover right across the street from Summer House. There's a crosswalk with lights right there. It would kind of make a lot of sense, and if we could get something financially agreeable to the property owner and to the city, it shouldn't cost us a lot of money to go in there and clear out what underbrush and basically put down, help us dispose of the remaining shells we have.
So there's three of them here, and I believe the one that we had the agreement
Was the big one.
was the big one, right?
Right.
So.
Well, actually, Mayor, it's the one here.
The one surrounded by water.
Yeah, it's right beside the water.
Okay.
It's got water on two sides.
And that's right behind,
Summer House.
And there's enough room there to
There's 2 acres.
get a car in and out?
Oh, yeah. If you walk by there, it's,
Okay.
I believe one of the issues, and I'm looking back, this was years ago when David was here, it was a sand issue, compacting and some things like that. If we could get back there and actually make it in the parking lot. I think we should go ahead and address that one and look into it, see if it's available.
Yeah, if it's sand, that's an easy civil engineering problem I can solve.
right. I mean, we build stuff on sand all the time, so.
All right, so we're giving direction to the city administrator, go ahead and contact that,
Yeah.
and talk to them about availability.
Right.
Whether it's lease or purchase.
We've heard from so many citizens that have, and council members about turning Parker Park into some sort of parking. Well, this is next to Parker Park.
Well,
It's a great location.
then what we have then is we start to host events other than just music in the park. Well, now we have overflow parking.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't have people parking on the sides of the highway, and people can go to music festivals and, you know, car shows or whatever we wanted to host as a city.
Which means we can probably expand the number of uses we can put into Parker Park, especially when we're about to get a pavilion.
Yeah.
Or
Amphitheater. Right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, good one. Any other citizens comment? Or, excuse me, council? Linda, you good?
I was gonna say, just regarding the tree giveaway, Mel, is that just really for Mexico Beach residents, or is there any limit on the number of trees, or do they have to show IDs?
I don't have all the information.
Okay.
Sure. No, sir.
All right. Let's move on to mayor comments. As of April the 21st, we received from Dresco an email addressed to the mayor of Mexico Beach and also city clerk. And we received that on April the 21st, somewhere around about 3:20, that she was resigning from taking a seat on the council. We immediately sent that out to all the council and the city council, to our attorney. And I just want to confirm that everybody received the letter or email, has read it, and it's just a consensus that you got it and understand it. Any questions on it from the council? Okay, then we'll go ahead and accept that. The next thing I'd like to do is, obviously that took me right to where do we go. So I went to the charter and I read 2.06, vacancies and forfeiture of office. I'd like our city administrator to go ahead and read that paragraph to the citizens on the council, when you're ready. Yes, ma'am.
Section 2.06, vacancies, forfeiture of office. Vacancies. A vacancy in the council shall occur upon the death, resignation, or removal from office as authorized by law. When such vacancy occurs, the remaining council members shall select within 30 days following the vacancy by the affirmative vote of not less than 3 of the remaining members, a person to fill the vacancy until the next regular election. At this election, the seat shall be filled as provided herein for elections for the balance, if any, of the unexpired term. An appointee shall be a qualified elector of the city, a citizen of the United States, and have resided within the corporate limits of the city for at least 1 year prior to the date of this appointment.
So with that said, I mean, it's pretty clear what we need to do. I wanted to make sure the council understands it, and then I'd like to go ahead and, rather than do something today, I think Mr. Jason said, take your time, make the right decision. That's obviously what we want to do. I'd like to see if we can get and put a special meeting together sometime next week, the week of the 4th. And I personally would be available anytime between the 5th and the 8th. See if we can get, put this together to appoint a new council member for that seat.
Are we thinking 9 a.m.?
I'm open to that.
The 5th?
I do have some out-of-town company coming. I think the 8th would work better for me.
The 5th doesn't work for me. Actually, the 8th is great for me.
8th's good for me.
Yeah.
Steve, you good?
That's good. I'm out of town on the 8th.
You're out of town. Is your partner here?
Yes, sir.
And we probably need somebody here on that day.
Yes, sir.
City administrator?
I'm here.
And clerk.
9 a.m.
Let's make 9 a.m. on the 8th of May.
Excuse me, Mayor, I know I'm speaking, do you mind if I speak I got one question?
I do mind, I just want to go ahead and take care of it here, and then we'll absolutely, we'll bring it up. Okay, so 8th of May at 9 o'clock, and we'll come prepared to appoint a council member. How you go out and speak to and talk to is up to you guys, or if you get contacted or whatever. There's no application or anything that's required.
Would we put something out on the Mexico Beach Facebook page to let people know that there is this opening to see who would be interested on their own?
We'll post the information we just went over just now, the 8th, and that's what we're gonna do. That meeting will only be for that special meeting, only for that, so that's a good point. You can get folks out. Any other questions at the table about that? Okay, yes, sir, come on up.
Yeah, I just wanted clarification, I guess the attorney, I think I understand. But I guess her resignation fell under, it's the only thing I can find in the charter is the single candidate, it's 5.05C. That it says in the event only one person qualifies as a candidate, either for the ballot listing or the write-in candidate for a designated group of the city council to be filled at the election, that group shall not be listed on the regular city election ballot, and such candidate shall be declared elect. So, and the only reason why I asked that, I guess y'all have had discussion and confirmed. One, the resignation was on a Tuesday. She was never sworn in. Is there any?
She was still technically elected.
Yeah, I know y'all asked, you got the resignation, so I just wanted to be sure that that's the only thing I can see where it falls under.
Yeah, she was the council member elect, and it was post-election, so in a abundance of caution, she resigned,
Yes,
and,
Which is-
the charter would trigger in 2.06.
yeah. So that's where it's all. Okay.
Yeah, and just so you know, our contact right away was Bay County election, Board of Elections, and obviously our attorney. And we got everybody together, made some decisions, confirmed what we were reading, because there were some questions over that, whether it's gonna be 1 year, 2 years, or whatever. But we got everything sorted out with the inputs of hopefully the experts. So that's what we're talking about today. Any other comments on that? Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Lisa Logan, Mexico Beach. Just one quick question that you just brought up. Will it be for a 1 year or the full 2 year term? I'm
Yes, the
confused.
clarification is that it is actually for the 1 year,
Okay,
which puts us at a cycle, basically.
right,
So in 1 year, that next election will be 4 council seats that are
Right.
voted on.
okay.
Very important election.
And so then that will be for just, for that seat, it will be 1 more year, and then
Correct.
it will go into its regular cycle for 2
Thereafter,
years.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good clarification, thank you. Because, yeah, the citizens need to know that they're voting for that seat next year for 1 year, not 2.
Correct. Any other questions before we move on? Just so the citizen knows, if you didn't get it, believe me, this council consults with all the people they need to consult with to make sure we're making the right decisions. We don't always make the right decision. You know, we may get counsel for the right decision, sometimes we make the wrong, but we try to get as much counsel as we can. All right, if there's nothing else, we'll get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.